Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot, and welcome to another flight in the fantastic famous Flyer 10, the Boeing 707. Today we are taking her on an American Airlines flight from Frankfurt to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, or back in the day used to be called New York's Idlewild Airport, as the airport was only renamed in 1963 after the 707 services had actually already begun. Now we have a fantastic repaint available from flightsim.to that I can really recommend, and this one actually also features windows on the right hand side of the aircraft, and well, most importantly, it just is a fantastic looking American Airlines bare metal livery. So follow me inside and then we can board our 707 through the front over here, make our way into the cockpit and somehow try to get in between all of those seats over here. And then we can just move that flight engineer's seat back a little bit. And yeah, take a seat on the captain's seat of our 707. But before we start with all the pre-flight and stuff, let's have a very quick look into the flight plan to get you guys up to speed on what we're gonna do today. So here's what our route looks like. We are leaving Frankfurt and then heading northbound across Amsterdam and just north of Manchester here, south of Glasgow, across Nut Track Charlie until we make landfall close to Goose Bay, and then we set course down to New York's Kennedy Airport. The significant weather chart has an opposing jet stream on our way out and then is fairly clear on the rest of the flight. So overall, expecting good weather today. Looking at the airport weather, a couple of SIGMETs in the area, and then Frankfurt is showing fantastic weather conditions over here, and New York currently a little bit gusty, and for our arrival time the weather is actually forecast quite well, so I'm positive this is going to be a nice one. Our alternate in Boston is looking quite good, and with that in mind, looking into our OFP, we're supposed to leave Frankfurt at 8:30 and we're going to arrive in New York half an hour ahead of schedule. Our weights are all far from their maximums today, with the takeoff weight being the closest, cruising in flight level 300 and later on all the way up to flight level 360. Now with that in mind, looking into the fuel, I really don't see much reasons to take more than the minimum over here, so 126,000 pounds of fuel it is for today's flight, making us arrive in New York with 15 minutes extra, and that should be more than sufficient for the purpose of today's operation. Alright, so that's that. Now we are flying the 707 equipped with the INS over here, so that will be our primary means of navigation. And yeah, then I'd say let's go ahead and get right into this one with a cockpit safety inspection. The emergency flap switch is guarded, landing lights are off, landing gear lever is down, the park and brake is set, radar mode selector is off, transponder mode selector is on standby, the galley power switch is off, and the AC auxiliary hydraulic pumps are off. Fuel dump panel cover is closed. So let's run over to the flight engineer's seat over here. We start with the circuit breakers, which are all checked. The radio master switches are off. The external power selector is off. Then we can go for the battery test, which is looking good. And then we can fire up that battery. Now let's go down to the APU, do the fire test down here, which is looking good. And then let's go ahead and start up our APU down here. Alright, APU is coming. In the meantime, let's move up to the external power, which is connected and looking good. So let's go ahead and connect that thing. And then let's just, while the APU is starting, run back to the captain's seat over here. Compasses and gyros are still aligning. And yeah, let's go down into the SimBrief dispatch over here. A view flight. For real. Alright, this is looking better. Okay, so import the weights please. And that's looking good. And now a quick look at the aircraft and our payload. Mainly I am interested in our fuel over here. So we got full main tanks and quite a bit in the center. And just to be 100% accurate over here, I do want to load a tad more. Let's make it some, let's make it 400 pounds more. So the center tank is going to go up to 40,400. So 4,400, like that. Looks good. Alright, and load aircraft. That's just so that we don't depart with the exact bare minimum fuel there. Okay, so back to the flight engineer seat, and the APU has started. So APU generator on, auxiliary power unit bleed valve on, and then we can switch over to the APU over here for the essential power and the paralleling. And last but not least, let's turn on the radio master switches, and then we can return to the captain seat and start our INS alignment. So that brings that thing into a line, and then we can already hop into the Navigraph charts, and now we're looking for the coordinates of our parking position, which unfortunately nowadays that Frankfurt, well, actually here they are. So 5002.9. That's even easier. Okay, so 50029 insert and 834.6. So 50029 834.6. That's all correct. Alright, fantastic. Insert, and with that our alignment is on the way now. And yeah, then let's go ahead and start with our flight deck setup. So that's looking good. Then let's bring the Mark trim back online. Like that. Alright, cool. So we got that. Then let's move to the overhead panel. We don't really need any of those lights today. This is all looking good. Yeah, any skid test at this point not really implemented. So rudder and spoiler switch is guarded, nacelle anti-ice is off, and then moving up here the compass is slaved, GPWS on normal. Flight recorder test unfortunately not simulated. Cell coil can be switched to HF on both systems today, as we'll be crossing the Atlantic. Wing anti-ice is off, passenger oxygen off, emergency lights armed, fasten seatbelt and no smoking sign switches on, ground crew call tested, cabin call tested, yaw damper on. Right hand side compass is slaved and the flight recorder comes online. HF radios are not required for the time being. Okay, window heat systems are tested, pitot and static heaters are tested. Navigation light coming on, and then we can move to the main panel down here. And on the main panel, down here everything is set, all that stuff is looking good. Then radio altimeter, chest is looking good, minimums to 20. Up here everything's good, the dimmers are working, and your side on the rad alt is tested as well. Alright, alignment is in progress, and then weather radar 5 degrees above, and the squawk machine 2000 and standby. Moving further down for the radios, we don't really need anything yet, so let's just go for 1 to 1.5. Like this, flight directors, pitch plus 10, and the rest is off, and the rest is looking good down here. Alright, on the sides then, we've got our VHF radios, which we want at something decent in the middle. VHF 1 selected, and the radio selected on the intercom, and all of that is looking good. Alright, then let's return to the FE seat and start up here. So galley power stays off for the time being. All the TRs are looking good, and the essential does as well. Down here everything is set, leading us down to the fuel. Gauges are looking good. Forward pumps are looking good. Aft pumps are looking good. Then let's leave one on for the APU in the tank number 2. Cross-feed valves are all operating correctly. Fuel temperature selectors are all looking good. Fuel heaters are guarded. So interconnect onto brake, that's looking good, that's looking good. Now let's go for system. Aux 2 pump works, Aux 1 pump works. Alright, brake released, brake set. And we see the fluctuation in the system. Alright, looking good. Engine vibration test. looking good. Equipment cooling is on norm. Oil quantities are tested. That's looking good. Alright, and going to landing. The outflow valves are opening. Back to takeoff. Rate is looking good. We'll start our cruise and flight level 300. So let's make sure that that is selected. Alright, 2000 above is selected and looking good. The split is on normal, hold selected, auto selected. That all looks good. Temperature selectors are looking good. 75 degrees is selected. 0 differential pressure, 0 rate of climb, cabin altitude equals to field elevation. All looking fantastic. Up here everything is set. Temperatures are selected, that's looking good. Inlet guide vanes are looking good. Turbofan exit valve override is on normal. Gasper fan on. Down here everything's set. Overheat lights off. Quick look into the fuel dump panel, but that's all looking good. Interphone off. Sufficient oxygen is on board. Masks are on and selected accordingly. Door warning test is looking good. Our flight number is gonna be 157 and it's the... what date is it? 17th. Alright, like that, and the flight recorder works. Fantastic. Okay, cool. Then we're done with our setup in the back over here, so let's return up to the front. And then we got to see how we're gonna do our standard instrument departure. Because obviously speaking, nowadays Frankfurt only has ANAF departures. But I think I have a good idea there, because there are still some older flights, or some older charts available on the internet. So let's go ahead and call for our IFR clearance. So, Frankfurt Airport, Aegis 118.730. Let's start with that.
NH1013. Transition level 70. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie. Frankfurt Airport. Information, Charlie. 0450 Zulu. Arriving runways 25 left, 25 right. Departing runways 25 center, 18. Wind 300 at 5. Cav OK. Temperature 18, dew point 13. QNH 1013. Transition level 70. Advise on initial contact. You have information, Charlie. Frankfurt Airport. Information, Charlie.
Okay, Charlie is on board, then let's tune delivery 122035. Actually, that's wrong. 035. Like that. Okay, so let's get our IFR clearance, and then we'll see what they've got in store for us. Frankfurt delivery, good morning, American 157 Heavy, information Charlie, request IFR clearance to New York. Alright, and then we'll just see what they're gonna give us and what we can improvise for our standard instrument departure on top of that IFR clearance.
American 157, cleared to John F. Kennedy via the Oboka 3 Mike departure. Climb 4000. Expect flight level 30010 minutes after departure. Departure on 118.505. Squawk 2411. Expect runway 25 center.
American 157 is cleared to New York's Kennedy Airport via the Oboka 3 Mike departure. Climbing 4,000 feet, expect level 300, 10 minutes after departure, 118505, squawk 4211.
American 157, readback correct. Ground will be on 121.805.
121.805, American 157. Okay, fantastic. So it's the Oboka 3 mic departure. Now, what we can do is we'll just Google for a couple of charts from the past, and there are quite a couple of SID charts still available from the good old days. Now, Oboka, on the other hand side, is something that may or may not be available in there. To be honest, we'll simply have to see. We'll try it, and we'll see what we can find. And just Googling for a couple of those, we can actually find this for an old Frankfurt chart. Then let's just go ahead and find Oboka in there. So, here we go. Does exist. And now, basically, all we need is to find some SID chart that looks like an Oboka departure. Back in the day, it was actually BitT, and then Oboka was just the last waypoint before that. So, when we look down here, that's basically the route that we are gonna fly. So, let's straight ahead to 5DME from Fox Mike, Frankfurt Main VOR. That one still exists, I know that for sure. Then it's a left turn 195 until 10.1 DME, and then a right hand turn on to the ANAF points all the way towards Oboka. And that's pretty much what we're going to enter over here. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we need Frankfurt Main VOR 114.2. And that's the only VOR we're gonna need for today's departure, so let's go ahead and tune that on both sets. Then, initially runway heading, and thereafter 195 course, so I am going to tune 195 over here, and the runway heading, as always, 246. So straight ahead until 5 DME, left turn onto 195 track, and that until 10.1 DME. Okay, so going back into our charts, that seems to be a pretty good moment to transition onto the ANAF routing. So, passing that, we proceed there to PAPV 49.53.1. So, that's 49.53.1. Insert, and then we've got 822.4 east. Alright, and that's waypoint number 1. Then we continue towards Sifto, 49.53.4. North and 8.15.9 east. Okay, then we continue towards QPIP, 49.56.4. And 8096. Okay, then we continue towards Marsia, and I think that one should actually be in our filed flight plan already. Marsia is something that I recognize seeing quite a bit in the real world. Where is our OFP? It should be available on the flights menu, huh? Yeah, there it is. Use SimReef OFP. Here we go. And then going down here... Marsia, there it is. Okay. You can see some of the others actually existed back in the day as well. So, Marsia is up next. That's going to be 50.15.3. And 7.44.3. Then we continue towards Ravki, 50.21.7. And 7.39.9. Then we continue to DTOM, 50.33.5. And 7.31.8. Okay, next is gonna be Oboka, 50.44.7. And 720.3. Alright, and then we got Allpex 50539. And 659.7. And finally we have Narel 51053. And 633.8. Okay, cool. So that's our 9 waypoints entered. All we can actually do for the time being. So, let's see. Prior to Marsia, we had PUBV and Sifto and Cupid. So, PUBV number 1. Then Sitvo number 2. Cupid number 3. Marsia number 4. Rafki number 5, DTOM number 6, Oboka is 7, Allpex is 8, and Narel is 9. Is that correct? 633.8? Yeah, that is correct. Okay, fantastic. Accuracy index is up, so we can select nav mode, and then for the cross-check from 0 to 1, 12 miles, looks realistic. So we've got correct flight plan loaded. Okay, excellent. So then the QNH is 1013 and the elevation is looking good with that. Then let's go for our takeoff performance data. So Boeing 707 app, flight data cards, and that's all looking good. Let's just hit update. Still looking good. Set box, set trim, and that's it. Cool, so with that our pre-flight procedures are completed, so let's go ahead and do our checklist, please. So, before start checklist down to the line. Cockpit preparation complete, emergency flaps off, Mach airspeed warning check, any skid is checked none, rudder and spoiler switches are on, emergency exit lights armed, no smoking and seatbelt signs on, compass controller mode switch on slave. Radio altimeters checked, yaw damper engaged, window heat low, pneumatic brakes checked, flight instruments altimeter and flight director set and cross-checked, compasses sync and cross-checked, instrument transfer switches normal, radios, radar and transponder set and standby, start levers cut off, park and brake set, rudder and aileron trims 3 and 0, battery on, fuel. So that is 126,000 pounds. Set for start and air conditioning units off before start checklist complete down to the line. Okay, fantastic. So let's say hello to our passengers and then we're already good to go. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning from the flight deck. This is your captain speaking. My name is Emmanuel, and in the name of American Airlines, I would like to welcome you all on board of our Boeing 707 on our flight to New York's John F. Kennedy Airport. We're expecting a flight time of approximately 8 hours and 15 minutes today. Smooth ride ahead with maybe some slight turbulence during the climb out. Thank you very much for being our guest. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. If there's anything we can do for you to make it more comfortable, please don't hesitate to ask any of our charming cabin crew members. The cabin crew will shortly perform the safety demonstration that is for your own safety as well as the safety of the passengers sitting around you, so please do pay them your full attention. Thank you very much for being with us. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight, and we're looking forward to this ride to New York. We will get back here with the latest weather when we start the approach to our destination airport. Okay, fantastic. So the chocks are removed, then let's call ground and get our pushback clearance. Frankfurt ground, American 157 heavy, request pushback and startup.
American 157, push and start approved, face southeast.
Push and start approved, facing southeast, American 157. Okay, we got that. We don't have the initial climb yet. 5,000, and our squawk 4211. Okay, so that's all looking good. Then let's already set the weather radar standby. Just don't turn it on yet. Okay. B4 start checklist. Galley power off. Start pressure checked. And beacon on. B4 start checklist complete.
Lufthansa 454 ready to taxi.
Okay.
Lufthansa 454, taxi to holding point runway 25 center via November 5.
Can we close
Lima,
that door,
3.
please?
Taxi to holding point runway 25 center via
Thank
November
you.
5 Lima.
Ground from cockpit.
Lufthansa 454.
Clear to push and start, and the parking brake is set. Roger that. Push and start approved. Area number 2, release brakes. Brakes released. Roger, starting the pushback, and you're clear to start the engines. Thank you. Starting sequence 3421, and we'll commence engine number 3 now. Clear 3. Engine 3 start.
Qatari 39 Charlie, contact tower on 118.78.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard American Airlines.
15% N2, lever to start.
Departing from Frankfurt and heading to New York City.
Blair
John
246, cross runway 7 center.
Our estimated flight time is 8 hours.
Cross runway 7 center, Nouvelle Air 246.
Oil pressure rising.
Demonstration, as it contains important information even for frequent flyers. Please fasten your seatbelts and ensure
Starter
they are
release.
secured whenever the seatbelt sign is completed. Return your seat backs and tray tables to the upright position and open your window blinds for takeoff and landing.
50% N2, lever to idle.
Must be set to
Okay, good start 3, starting 4.
should be securely stowed.
Clear 4.
Engine start valve open.
E-cigarettes are prohibited on board. Oxygen masks will drop automatically.
Ooh, quite the traffic jam at the runway.
Over your nose and mouth and breathe normally. Light vents
15% N2, lever to start.
and inflate only after leaving the aircraft. Floor level lighting will guide you to the nearest exit, which may be behind you.
So they're pulling us forward to that area number 2 in the front over there.
And follow crew instructions immediately. If any electronic device becomes hot or catches
Starter
fire,
release.
remember immediately. Thank you for your attention and we wish you a pleasant flight.
50% N2, lever to idle.
Engine 2 start.
Lufthansa 408,
Engine
request
start
pushback.
valve open.
Lufthansa 408, push and start approved.
Push and start approved, Lufthansa 408.
15% N2,
Lufthansa
lever to
7
start.
Alpha, Alpha contact tower on 118.78.
Going to tower, Lufthansa 7 Alpha Alpha, thanks.
Oil pressure rising.
Okay, push completed, set brakes. Brake set.
%, N2, lever to idle.
And good start 2, starting 1.
Engine
Lufthansa
start
582,
valve.
contact tower on 118.78.
Going to tower, Lufthansa 582, thanks.
15% N2, lever to start.
Air Serbia 30 Romeo, pushback approved.
Push and start approved, Air Serbia 30 Romeo.
Oil pressure rising. Starter release.
Lufthansa 890 ready to taxi.
Lufthansa 890, taxi to holding point runway 25 center via November 7, Lima, Lima
50%
3.
N2, lever to idle.
Taxi to holding point runway 25 center via November 7, Lima, Lima 3.
Okay, ground.
Lufthansa
We've got
890.
forward starts. You clear to disconnect. Prepare the airplane for taxi and see you on the right hand side. Have a good day. Bye bye. So, APU bleed off. Then Some people say this should work. But personally, I just can't get that frequency control to do anything useful.
Ground Austrian 25 Echo Charlie, taxi to the gate.
Austrian 25 Echo
And
Charlie,
because of
taxi
that,
via Mike 21, Mike,
I'll
Mike
simply
1,
close
hold short of runway
the generator
25
breakers anyway. Not exactly what you're supposed to do,
Mike 14, hold short of runway 25 center, Austrian 25 Echo Charlie.
but
Lufthansa 408 ready to taxi.
don't really care, huh?
Lufthansa
Alright,
408,
cool, so we got
taxi to
all of
holding
those.
point, runway 25 center via
Galley
November
power is
5,
coming
Lima,
on,
Lima
let's
3.
start the compressors.
Taxi to holding point runway 25 center
That's
via
looking
November
good.
5 Lima
Fuel.
Lima 3 Lufthansa 408.
Leave the center tank off for the initial takeoff. Okay, and that should be all in the back over here.
Clear to 46 across runway 7 right.
Then, oh, actually nope. I
Cross
think I
7
forgot
right,
to
clear
shut
to
down the
46.
APU. Yeah, here it is. Alright, good. Okay, trims are set, and all the rest is looking good. Then let's do the after start checklist, please. So, ground equipment clear, hydraulics, pressure quantity normal, interconnect closed, doors closed, after start checklist complete. American 157 Heavy, request taxi.
Air Serbia 30 Romeo, taxi to holding point runway 25 center via Sierra, Romeo Romeo 5, Mike 7, Mike 6. American 157, taxi to holding point runway 25 center via November 3, Lima, Lima 3.
Okay, so 1.25 center via November 3, Lima, Lima 3, American 157 Heavy.
Lufthansa 978 ready.
Okay, that's November 3, Lima, Lima 3.
Lufthansa 978.
Clear on the left side, clear on the right side.
Roger, pushback approved. Lufthansa 978.
Cool. Parking brake is released. Let's go.
Lufthansa to Echo Papa contact tower on 118.78.
Going to tower, Lufthansa 2 Echo Papa, thanks.
Delta Foxtrot Echo Tango Mike contact tower on 136.5.
136.5 for tower, Delta Foxtrot Echo Tango Mike.
Alright, the right hand side is clear, and it looks like we're going to be behind the 747 over there.
Lufthansa 455, taxi to parking via Papa 20, Papa November 11, Lima.
And this, my friends, is exactly the reason why you never depart with the exact minimum fuel. Because if things get delayed, things get delayed. And you really don't want to return to the ramp because you were missing, like, you know, 5 milliliters of fuel. Okay. So, we're gonna go behind the 747. I do not care about that guy who doesn't exist for the next 30 years yet.
Lufthansa 978, taxi to holding point runway 25 center via November 7, Lima, Lima 3.
In the real world, I would of course keep my distance from the 747 over here, because, well, engine thrust and stuff. But in the simulator, in order to force that guy to stop, I think we need a taxi as close as we are right now. No way around this, unfortunately. Okay, so for the taxi procedures, anti-ice is off, pitot and static heaters are coming on, the rest over here is set, the rest over there is set. And that's all looking okay, so let's do the before takeoff checklist down to the line, please. The cell anti-ice Off, ground start switches, off, yaw damper on, window heat, low, probe heat on, flight directors, flight instruments and radios are set for departure, speed brake lever full forward, flaps 14, 14 and green lights. Start levers idle detent, step trim 3.5 units, flight controls. Full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral, rudders, full left, full right, and neutral. Okay, electricals are checked. Galley power on, fuel set for takeoff, fuel heat off, hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal, APU door open light extinguished, cockpit door locked, takeoff briefing and data. So it's going to be a left seat takeoff, runway 25 center, flaps 14, noise abatement procedure number 2. And for our departure, we climb straight ahead to 5 dmi Frankfurt Main, and then it's going to be a left-hand turn, 195 degrees until 10.1 dmi Frankfurt Main, and then we are going to engage the INS and continue ANA. The engine out sits straight ahead to 25 miles and pick up the holding over there. 5,000 keeps us safe, MSA 4,300. For an immediate return, we are slightly above the landing weight. We do need 22 minutes to dump the fuel if we have time available. If there is no time available, left-hand traffic pattern, come back onto a 5-mile final for an ILS approach runway 25 center. Apart from that, I've got nothing special, I've got nothing non-standard, and that's our departure briefing completed. Well then guys, we're in line. It's going to take a little while until everyone has departed, so I will fast forward this, and then I see you all in a couple of minutes when we're actually up at the holding point and ready for departure. Frankfurt Tower, American 157 Heavy, ready for departure.
Speedbird 903, hold short of runway 25 left.
Hold short of 25 left, Speedbird 903.
American 157 Heavy, Frankfurt Tower, runway 25 center, line up and wait.
Runway 25 center, line up and wait, American 157 Heavy. Cabin crew, prepare for departure.
American 157 Heavy, runway 25 center, winds 320 at 7, cleared for takeoff.
Runway 25 center, clear for takeoff, American 157 Heavy.
Yes, Serbia 30 Romeo, contact departure. Good day.
You have the ATC? Alright, before takeoff checklist below the line.
I've got the radios, Emmanuel. Let's get ready for takeoff.
Charlie, hold short of runway 25 center.
Okay, air current press.
Runway 25 center, Austrian 25 Echo Charlie.
Set for takeoff.
Speedbird 903, hold short of runway
So,
25
transponder on, engine start levers. Set, landing lights on, and that's the before takeoff checklist complete. Are you happy for a rolling takeoff? Then let's go. Stabilized. Sub takeoff thrust.
Setting takeoff power.
Austrian 25 Echo Charlie, hold short of runway 25 center. Holding short of runway 25 center, Austrian 25 Echo Charlie.
89.
Strike.
Lufthansa 175, contact ground 125. Switching to ground, Lufthansa 175. Speedbird 903, hold short of runway 25 left.
Hold short of 25 left, Speedbird 903.
Rotate. Cluster rate.
Gear up. Alright, we are through 500 AGL. And for some reason not receiving Frankfurt VOR. Well, let's start the left turn here.
American 157, contact Frankfurt departure on 118.505.
Contact Frankfurt departure on 118.505. American 157 Heavy. Frankfurt departure, American 157 Heavy. Good morning, climbing through 1,500 on Oboka 3 Mike.
Speed shift. Select flaps up.
Flaps up.
American 157 Heavy, Frankfurt departure, not seeing you on radar. Double check 2411 ident again.
Two 411, little mix up.
American 157 Heavy, identified. 5 southwest of Frankfurt at 2,500 feet. QNH 1013. Climb flight level 100.
QNH 1013. Climb flight level 100. American 157 Heavy.
Set. 100 checked. Alright. So let's put the autopilot on. Heading mode is engaged. And here we go. So unfortunately, there is no Frankfurt VOR here. So yeah, we'll just have to help ourselves there. But this looks quite okay. So let's start the right and turn towards PAPV. Maybe something in that direction. I will initially let the airplane point the nose there in heading mode. And once the nose is showing there, then we can engage nav mode. Okay, so it's already sequenced itself to waypoint 2. Then let's fly direct to waypoint number 2. And nav mode is selected. So from here on, our departure chart is actually correct. So I'm happy to go with that. Alright. So, a little bit of weather on the radar there, but it doesn't look too bad. Just a couple of rain showers. No reason not to continue like that. Okay, so quick check at the engineer's panel. He started the fuel balancing, and the air conditioning is set as well. That looks okay.
Departure, Lufthansa 4 Romeo Juliet 2000 to 4000.
We're approaching 1,000 to go.
Lufthansa 4 Romeo Juliet, Landesinformation, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 110.
No TCAS back in the day, so we don't need to reduce our rate of climb either.
Lufthansa 4 Romeo Juliet. American 157, climb flight level 180.
Climbing flight level 180. American 157.
Set, 180 checked. And it looks like it's not intercepting the altitude, that's good. Then we can continue the climb over here. So, pitching down. You can see the rate of climb reduce up there. Alright, up to 300 knots. Outside temperature is plus 20, so we don't need anti-ice in this weather. Okay, we're gonna keep the seatbelt sign on for the time being, and that's pretty much everything we can do for now. So we'll keep climbing over here. We'll accelerate at 300 knots. Then let's go ahead and select INS nav down there. 319er track.
890, Langen Information, radar contact. Climb and maintain flight level 120.
Like this. Alright, nice. So we're reaching 300. Just about now. And same on your side. Okay, the weather radar is actually completely full down there. Let's see, if we go to 10 degrees up, not looking any better. Yeah, getting better. We'll be getting out of this soon. Okay. So that's all looking good. Then guys, for now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight with us. Let me quickly activate the flight directors up here as well. So yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight, and then I see you all later when we start the approach to New York's Kennedy Airport. Enjoy the fantastic views from a classic North Atlantic crossing over here.
Turn my life around. Turn my life around. Wow. Turn my life around. Turn my life around. Wow.
So we're expecting the ILS runway 22 left. It's little weathery over here, and unfortunately no views of Long Island today, which can be really stunning on the approach. But let me catch up on what we're doing right now. We're inbound to Calverton, and we're expecting that at 12,250. So what we're gonna do is, even though we're clear to 5,000 already, we will level off in 12, then reduce our speed to 250, and thereafter continue our descent and deceleration. So Calverton is tuned in VOR number 2 right now, and VOR number 1 is going to go to Kennedy VOR now, which is 15.9. That way we know exactly where we are in relation to the airport. So over here we go, 58 nautical miles to go, and that's that. Okay, so let's go ahead and start that level off once we're at 200 feet from the target altitude. This is pretty much standard IFR flying once again now. So 200 from target. Let's start the level off. Okay, 12,050, good enough for me. Alt hold comes on, and then we can reduce our thrust over here and start our deceleration. Let's keep it just outside. Actually, tell you what, we can go into the landing gear warning 1, and we're just gonna cut that out. Alright, cool. So, speed target down towards 250. And once we're at 250, we're going to continue the deceleration. Now, let's go ahead and have a look into the approach charts for JFK. Or for Idlewild Airport, as it would have been called back in the day. So here we are, ILS approach runway 2 to left. It will be radar vectored, the minimum is in 200 AGL. So let's go ahead and dial up 200 down here. And we are still waiting for the chance to set the courses and stuff, because we are still using our radios for navigation. Alright, so that's set over here. Now we are overflying Calverton, and the outbound is going to be on a 229 track. So let's go ahead and set 229 down there. Alright, it's pre-selected. So we can continue our descent down to 5,000 feet. So alt hold goes off, pitch down. So rate of descent looks good. Let's make sure that we maintain 250. And then we can turn the warning horn back on. So we're accelerating back towards 250. And while we're doing that, let's quickly set the approach speeds. Now, here's landing. Flaps 50, runway dry, and field elevation 0. So that's all good. If we use 40, yeah, that's good enough for my taste. So set the speed box. And just keep the target speed at 250, please. Thank you. Alright, cool. So with that, we are pretty much all set up. And now we are timing our descent based on the DME from Kennedy VOR, which is 44 miles out. And we are in 11,000, so it's a nice and easy descent over here. Also, we are going to get a little bit of extra delay due to the radar vectors that we're going to receive, so overall this is looking pretty good. Now, the lights and the signs are on already, since we are in the United States, therefore everything happens a little earlier, and that's pretty much it. So let's go for the approach briefing. We're flying the departure for arrival, and we are going to fly the we're going to get radar vectors for the approach. Now, after over, we proceed to trail. Thereafter, we are expecting vectors. And then we've got the ILS approach and a runway 22 left. So, starting at Salpo in 1800 with a 3-degree glide down to a minimum of 212. And the go-around is climb to 500, climbing left turn to 3000, outbound JFK, VOR, radial 190 to Chant, which is at 19 DME and hold. So, straight at 500, left turn, 190, outbound JFK to 3000 and hold. Field elevation is 12 feet, and going over into the engineer's panel, we have selected 0 down there. All the rest is set. Our cabin is at roughly 4.5 PSI right now. Let's increase that rate of descent a bit though, just to make sure that the cabin really reaches sea level by the time that we get down. So, looking out to the front, it looks like we do have a little bit of weather ahead of us. Just increase that rate of descent. Range is 50. Alright, yeah. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Yeah. Alright. Not exactly perfect weather, but absolutely okay for our purposes. So now we need track 270, like this, and after that waypoint, so in 15 miles we are expecting radar vectors, the latest. We've passed 10,000, lights are on now, the taxi lights are on as well, and the signs are on. The fuel is all balanced and looking good. We've currently got 4x4. 16,000 pounds on board, so that's around 20 minutes of extra fuel. Alright, do you have any questions on the approach briefing? No? Fantastic. Alright, then let's just go down to the nav aids. So we're gonna retune. 15.9 is gonna go active in VOR2, so that we've got our JFK VOR, and then 1109 for the ILS is gonna go into number 1, like this. Easy. Okay.
American 157 Heavy, turn right heading 290, vectors for the ILS, runway 22 left approach, speed below 200 knots.
Okay, heading 290 and speed 200. Okay. Pretty far out for that speed, but I guess we have no choice then. So, idle thrust. Pitch up a bit to break that rate of descent.
Descend and maintain 3,000.
Descend and maintain 3,000. American
Set,
157 Heavy.
3,000 checked. And then speed 200, that's basically minimum clean over here. So let's start reducing. Now, shall we take bets how long it's gonna take until they are gonna complain that we're not descending fast enough anymore? Can't be too long. Okay, in the meantime, we've pretty much done everything here, so let's go for the descent and approach checklist, please. Pressurization, set, anti-ice, off. Coolant air valves, open, circuit breakers, checked. Yeah, that was so clear.
Descend to 3,000. American 157 Heavy.
Speed brakes out. Okay, so,
220 knots, set flaps 14.
yeah, not yet. We're still a little far out. Okay, so, seatbelts on, landing lights on, EPR and airspeed box set, altimeters, QNH 2987, radio altimeters set, flight director, flight instruments and radios, set cross check, fuel, set for landing, hydraulics, pressure and quantity normal, descent and approach checklist complete. Alright, we're 23 miles from the field, in around 6,500, that actually looks quite okay. I tell you what, flaps 14, probably going to make it a little easier than if we keep using the speed brakes here. Alright, speed brakes coming in. Let's turn the weather radar to about neutral.
195 knots, set flaps 25.
Alright, here we go. Did we break the chart app? Kinda looks like we did. Alright, nonetheless, I want to get rid of the... position of the chart, because we wouldn't have had that in the real world. Alright, since we're on vectors, let's set the final approach course, 224. And then we can switch down to locator again. Same on your side. Here we go. So the ground speed is 200, so 1,000 feet a minute. Keeps us on a nice descent here. And we are receiving the ILS on both sides, so that's going to be 110.9 for you as well. That's a problem flying the 707. You need to tune the ILS basically on both sides in order for both pilots to be able to see it. So in case of missed approach, we'll have to retune the radio back to JFK VOR. Okay, 18 miles out. I think we're doing quite well here. Passing 4,700. I'm not gonna try to do a continuous descent or something like that, because, well, welcome to 1970s aviation. Didn't happen back then. Alright, but from now on we shouldn't need idle thrust anymore, so let's turn the landing gear warning horn back on. Just so that we've got that warning available if we do need it. Alright, here's our glide slope. We're pretty much straight on it. So then we can just maintain...
Left heading 260. American 157 heavy.
Okay, heading 260. 1,000 to go. So, we're 14.5 miles out. That actually looks pretty good. So let's have some fun. Autopilot off. Here we go, heading 260. Ooh, turbulence.
American 157 heavy, speed 190 knots.
Speed 190 knots. American 157 heavy.
Okay, here's 190.
American 157 heavy, traffic at your 12 o'clock, 5 miles at 2,000 CRJ9.
Looking American 157
That's probably
heavy.
the reason for the speed restriction. Okay, and here's 3,000.
Departure on 120.8.
Overshot that a bit, but we're re-intercepting. That's going to be okay.
0.8, Hopkey 73.
American 157 heavy, 5 miles from Valpo. Turn right heading 285. Descend and maintain 1,800 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach.
5 miles from Valpo, right heading 285. Descend and maintain 1800 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 22 left approach. American 157 heavy.
Okay, we're on the glide slope. Then let's have the speed come back.
157 heavy, contact Kennedy Tower on 119.1.
Contacting Kennedy Tower on 119.1. American 157 heavy.
Localizer alive.
Kennedy Tower, American 157 heavy. Good afternoon, on the ILS runway 22 left approach.
Okay, gear down.
American 157 heavy, Kennedy Tower.
And of course we're overshooting because at this angle you simply cannot intercept properly.
We're
Alright, so we are in 1800. We are re-intercepting the ILS.
Localizer 1. 165 knots. Set landing flaps.
Alright, flaps 30 and flaps 40.
American 157 heavy, runway 22 left, winds 130 at 8, cleared to land.
Runway 22 left.
So
cleared
just
to
set those
land.
bugs again,
American
and the runway is wet
157
now.
heavy.
Okay, so we've got the landing flaps, we've got the landing gear. Now we've got the missed approach altitude.
Winds 220 at 12, runway 22 right, cleared for takeoff.
And now we're back on exactly on the localizer. Perfect.
Delta 903, winds 130 at 8, cleared to land, runway 13 left. Cleared to land 13 left, Delta 903.
Where's the wiper? There it is.
1,000 feet.
And the moment you're looking up, you are of course losing the glide. Kinda expected. But yeah, re-intercepting now. We can see the runway lights and the puppies over there. It's quite incredible when you look outside and you see that we're, you know, going a little left and right and stuff. But that was actually within the stabilized approach criteria. Also note the difference between the glide slope and the puppy over here.
500 feet.
I think I'm gonna trust the puppy. Or actually, I'm trusting none of these. I mean, look at... I don't know, but that looks a little strange looking outside.
Minimum.
Continue.
Thanks, Ray.
Nope.
100. 50. 30. 20. 10.
Come on.
Spoilers up.
Okay, reverse as normal. 80 knots.
American 157 heavy, contact ground point 9er.
Contacting ground on point 9er. American 157 heavy.
Is that a taxiway here?
Kennedy ground. American 157 heavy. Good afternoon.
Doesn't
Cleared
look
of
like
runway.
it.
Ready to taxi to the gate.
American 157 heavy, Kennedy ground, taxi to terminal 887 via Zulu. Hold short of runway 31 left.
Okay, so initially we're going to on Zulu to hold short off 31 left, which is just over here.
Welcome to New York City. Did you know that New York is the largest subway system? Thank you for flying American Airlines today. Please remain seated until we reach our final parking position.
American 157 heavy, hold short of runway 31 left, 320 on the runway.
Okay, so we're gonna stop over here for now. Parking brake is set, weather radar standby, transponder off, and then going back. Galley power is off.
Heavy, cross runway 31 left, Then continue taxi via Juliet, hold short of runway 4 left.
Cross runway 31 left, continue via Juliet, hold short of runway 4 left, American 157 Heavy.
Okay, so the left side is clear, the right side as far as we can see. So, left onto Juliet and then hold short of the next runway. Well guys, welcome to Kennedy. This is the interesting thing here. Taxiing in that airport. Especially when it's wet, so that we have to be a little bit more careful here. So right is clear, left is clear. Alright, Juliet is the next one on the left hand side. And guys, since it is going to take a little while until we reach our gate, I think I'm just going to fast forward this a little bit. And then I'll see you all when we reach the other side and when we can start turning into our gate. Okay, we're reaching November Bravo. We are gonna turn right over here into the gate area, and then our gate is number 7. So, the right side is clear, nice and slowly around the turn, because it does feel a little slippery over here. Like this is looking good, and then we can go lights off. And our gate number 7 is the one all the way in the back. So that's gotta be that one there. Here's 3, 5, 7. Okay, so yeah, told you, that taxi would take a little time, and it sure did take a little time. At least, gotta say, this is an area of the Kennedy Airport that I've actually never been to before. So, always nice to see something new. I think we've seen the terminal from the other side, but definitely not from this niche. Then again, the airport is so large, I don't want to know how many areas of this terminal we're eventually going to find in our flight sim career. Alright, so turning into the gate, and the lights and the radar are off.
Hotel Bravo, Bravo Bravo, Golf, Alpha Alpha, Hotel Alpha, Quebec, Papa Foxtrot.
Alright, B703 is on the guidance system.
Right taxi via Hotel Bravo, Bravo Bravo, Golf, Alpha Alpha, Hotel Alpha, Quebec, Papa Foxtrot, Endeavour 5028.
And here we are.
Ready for pushback.
Okay, parking brake set, wipers are parked. Very good. Then, let's go to the back. And ensure the APU generator is online.
Start Egypter 986.
1, 2, 3, and 4. Alright, external power is online as well, and selected, APU as well. So, galley power is off, and then that stuff can come off. Let's keep one of the pumps for the APU. You're supposed to be off as well down there. Alright, auxiliary hydraulic pumps are coming off, and the bleed source is coming on. Fantastic, that's it from the back. So let's go to the front over here. Signs are off, and the beacon is off. Up here, can turn the window heat off as well. And then, let's do the parking, or rather the shutdown checklist, please. Electrical is on external power, seatbelt off, beacon off. Exterior lights are set, start levers cut off, parking brake set, fuel boost pumps, one on for the APU, AC auxiliary pumps off, air conditioning unit off, and that's the shutdown checklist completed. Well guys, with that, welcome to New York's Kennedy Airport. A little rainy unfortunately. But yeah, that is part of the fun, isn't it? I definitely enjoyed the visibility on the approach there. Couple words on the approach itself. It seems to me that the 707 is really only intercepting the localizer properly at a 30-degree angle when you're on autopilot, and even manually when you are getting vector to intercept that closely to the airport. At such an acute angle, we were heading 185 with a runway 22, so 65 degrees off at 8 miles. The moment the localizer starts coming in, you have absolutely no chance to catch it without overshooting with 30 degrees angular bank. So, technically speaking, that overshoot was not on us, that was completely down on air traffic control. Well, once we were in the final, it was the typical game. As long as we could focus on flying, everything's fine, everything within stabilized approach parameters, then you are looking up to turn the wipers on and you're immediately getting destabilized. That's really why we are flying these things with several pilots in the real world. And yeah, it just shows in the simulator as well. But what are the options there? Let me know your opinion in the comments below. Like, you could either just keep the autopilot until you are completely established and 300 feet above the ground. Yeah, then you could just fly the airplane a little more accurately. Or you do some hand flying and just accept that these things happen. I really don't see anything in between. Welcome to Microsoft Flight Simulator, that's how it works in here. And yeah, that's all I got for you today. Thank you very much for watching. As always, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. And if you really love what I'm doing on this channel, I would appreciate a small donation through the Buy Me Coffee link in the video description below. Thank you very much, and then I'm looking forward to see you all again on the next one.